to let you know that your phone has now been unmuted and we'll be starting in just a minute, okay? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the GODSU Tuesday Icon Talk. I'm your host, Her Excellency Cairo Eubanks of Cairo Speaks and Cairo Writes. I actually have to the left of me His Excellency Dakar, who's our sound engineer, and I want to let everyone know on the line that we have two powerful men of God unlocking legacy successfully, two moguls who will be sharing their stories and how they built their businesses and amassed the success that they have had over their lifetime and life experience. But before we begin, I'd like to start off with a prayer. Dear God, thank you so much for waking us up this morning. Thank you for allowing us to be here and be present for the GODSU Tuesday Icon Talk. May we learn from these two incredible men, their stories, their journeys, so that we can be able to incorporate those lessons into our lives, whether we are learning to be entrepreneurs or we want to just be able to take action. In your name we pray, God. Amen. Amen. So I am first going to interview my mentor, Dr. Michael V. Roberts, JD, Chairman and CEO of the Roberts Company. And one thing I want to say about this man is that he is the founding GODSU team. And when I tell you his biography, I tell his story, you will see how incredible it is to have such a visionary, such an entrepreneur, such a leader be a part of our program. And that's really what we're about, all about entrepreneurship and economic success. With that being said, I want to tell you all that Michael Roberts is the classic American entrepreneur. Born to middle-class, hardworking parents, educated in the St. Louis public school system, he worked his way through college and law school to become one of St. Louis's leading businessmen. Throughout his rise in business, Mr. Roberts maintained a strong commitment to the African American community from which he came. Locating his headquarters in the heart of this community, his endeavors over the last 4 decades have created thousands of jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities, raised the level of economic activity. Mr. Roberts' broad range of professional knowledge and experience developed as both a business owner and public official. The St. Louis Board of Aldermen, 1977 to 1985, large public projects, public-private sector development negotiation strategies, and successful management techniques for urban commercial properties. In the decades that followed, Mr. Roberts used his extraordinary and creative leadership abilities to build a business empire that encompasses television and radio broadcasting, real estate development, plus hotel ownership and management. Today, he is one of America's most successful and respected African American business leaders and is the recipient of numerous awards at the 2009 Trumpet Award for Federal Communications Commission Division Diversity Commission, the U.S. Department of Commerce National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and has been selected as a participant in some of our country's most prestigious programs, including the Citizen Ambassador Program, Securities Delegation to China in 1996, the Army War College in 2001, and the Joint Civilian Orientation Conference in 1995 trip to South America in 2008. And as I said when we were first starting this call, I want everyone to know that we are so proud to have Dr. Roberts be our founding dean for GODSU. The first dean. I also want to let you know that he is my law school mentor, and I've been working with him as well as his daughter Megan as I get ready for law school. So without further ado, Dr. Michael V. Roberts, how are you doing this evening?
Hello, how are you? I'm good.
I'm so happy to hear your voice, and I want to let everyone know that in front of me, I've actually been rereading Action Has No Season. This is a book that was written by Dr. Michael V. Roberts, and when I tell you that this book has been absolutely transformative, I'm reading it again after years of reading it for the first time, and it's in the first edition, but also Dr. Roberts recently released Action Has No Season 2.0. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second edition of this book that has transformed so many people's lives. I'm rereading it, annotating it. Dr. Roberts, I just want to ask you, what inspired you to write the first edition of Action Has No Season? What was the significance of naming the book Action Has No Season? I'm sure many people would like to know.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great question, and one that I had to think about when I first wrote the book. Why am I spending so much time, doing this? I realized that there were certain business success stories and lessons that I had either heard about or actually experienced. And the question then became, well, how can I leave the strategy and the secrets to gaining wealth and authority? How do I do that behind and offer it to other people to gain wealth if they're able to, in fact, receive the message? So it was in large measure, written as a way of giving back to the community. And it's ways to memorialize experiences that we, especially in the African American community, don't necessarily see or experience. I did. Taking companies public, building a variety of businesses, etc. So I just thought that it would be specifically my duty and responsibility to step up and to write my thoughts. I guess I'm somewhat of a philosopher in the sense, as a Renaissance man, I studied mythological conventions and literature before the 17th century, and I have a degree in literature and English. So that coupled with law and my experience philosophy, I ended up creating this term, Action Has No Season, and it's a very existential term, because it's basically saying there's no season to wait for in order for you to take action. And with your ideas, your creative visions, your purpose, if you will, that lays dormant until you do what? That is take action. So that is one of the reasons why I named it Action Has No Season. I named it that way because it makes you pause and think, well, I guess he's right. There is no season to wait, especially in the business world. We have to jump on our ideas right away, because if we wait too long, and how many times have we heard this, where people will say, I had that idea 3 years ago, and look, someone has taken my idea, they think it's, well, as far as that. You have to take action. You have to take action right away.
The reason why I like that title, Action Has No Season, is because I think that it is so true. What is the right time to put on rain boots, right? For example, you say, okay, well, possibly the best season to do that is the spring, right? Or, put on your fall boots or your fur boots in the wintertime. Guess what? When it comes to action, you either take action or you don't. And one thing that I will say is that I thought was so interesting in your work for Action Has No Season, the first edition, was that you spoke about how it was important to share these methodologies, these strategies, because they're not being taught in the schools. And you realize that you dedicated it to your children, and then you said, this is for me leaving a legacy for them, so that they can have this knowledge, but also everyone should have access to this knowledge. So one thing I want to ask you is, what is at least one fundamental principle or secret to success that isn't being taught in schools, but you believe should be implemented into the school's curriculum, and also why is that?
Well, I think that financial literacy can start at the youngest age. I remember the days when everyone had a piggy bank. And that concept of a piggy bank implied what? Savings. And then once you have the savings, how do you use the money? So financial literacy in school seems to be something that is desperately lacking. Of course, there are many, many other components, but once you learn how to value and manage money, and I use the word money loosely because it's really just a form of currency, and it has its own limited purposes, but nevertheless, you need money or currency in order to succeed and live in your everyday life. This is better embellished in my next book, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But I think that if we could get our young people to recognize what is and how does it best suit you, and while you're very young, and once this is implanted in their thoughts and their minds, in my opinion, it will only manifest itself and grow and allow people to be better managers of their finances as they get older. Whether it's just day-to-day existence of having a job and making money or running a business. In either case, it's very critical and it's something that I believe is lacking in the school curriculum.
I completely agree in terms of talking about money management. I think that, with the influx of social media and being able to follow people, you see that, for example, the accumulation of superficial items such as the new shoes, the new purse, you have great disdain for, you say that is superficial. And an actionaire knows that wealth is not just these items that are easily possessed, because guess what, you can lose those things too, right? So the concentration, the focus is not necessarily just on those superficial, tangible items, but realizing and recognizing that wealth has a broader sense of definition. And going into what you call an actionaire, I want to know, how does one become an actionaire or person of action? So this is a term that he coined, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone on the line. An actionaire is someone who is a person of action. They have key characteristics that differentiate them from their peers. So how does one become an actionaire, Dr. Roberts?
First of all, define an actionaire as someone who takes their ideas, their dreams, their visions, their passion, and they pursue them with courage, confidence, and pride. An actionaire is rather fearless when it comes to business. They've learned to eliminate the fear of failure. They are what I call no-box thinkers. Often people say that they are thinking outside the box, and I try to ask them, well, if that's the case, well, what size is your box? And how did you get in the box in the first place? Well, the reality is there's no such thing as a box. So therefore, don't limit yourself going into whatever you may be going into. And eliminating the fear of failure is very critical. You've heard me speak on this before. Fear, first of all, is just a mental construct, not of nature. It is not grass growing or the wind blowing. It actually doesn't exist other than in your mind. And if it's existing in your mind, you can release it. You can let it go. And actionaire is trained to do that. And the second word, failure, does not exist in the mind of an actionaire because we don't believe there's such a thing as failure. The presumption of failure is, a marriage didn't work out, a business didn't work out, et cetera, and it failed. No, it didn't fail. You learn from that experience. And if you accept the fact that you've learned from the experience, then is it a failure or is it just an event where the outcome wasn't as you would have liked? And therefore, it's not a failure, it's just an experience. And it's an experience that is going to be helpful you go on through life with your businesses, because most likely you may choose to do it again, some wrongly, but it won't be because you have experienced a way to avoid having that negative outcome. So, an actionaire is the no-box thinker. An actionaire has learned to eliminate the fear of failure. And these are some of the basic things that every day when you wake up, you give it 86,400 seconds. That's 24 hours of the day. And the moment you think of the moment, it's already gone. And therefore, you want to live every moment to its fullest extent. And this is the key to a successful, long longevity life, and that is living every moment in a positive way and enjoying your blessings and creating your own existence, creating your own destiny. I don't necessarily believe this a destiny per se. It's just out there because people would sit down. I remember when I was in the city council and I was campaigning, and I went into a room and knocked on some doors, visited. So a guy was sitting here, watching TV and eating it's just a regular country. And I asked him, what is he doing? He said, well, I'm waiting for my destiny to come to me. Well, of course, that's pretty ridiculous. Destiny's going to come to you. You have to be able to get out there and create your own destiny.
Yes.
So take your, I believe you have this as a purpose, and you have skills. Now you have to prosecute those skills and embrace them every second of the day that you live.
Well said. And now I want us to transition. So we talked about Action Has No Season, but now I am ready to talk about Action Has No Season 2.0. So my question for you is a two-part question. The first is, what inspired you to write the sequel, Action Has No Season 2.0, and what can readers expect from this sequel? What are some new innovations, methodologies that have been implemented into the second edition that was perhaps not included in the first edition of Action Has No Season?
Well, one of the things that I think embraces my purpose in writing the second book is that I felt that people needed sort of a workbook to go with. So included in the book is not only additional points of philosophy, which I'll point out in a second, but also there's a Q&A component. So it becomes almost like a workbook, and it makes people look inside of what are your own thoughts, and it makes you. One of the things I like to do is essentially put a mirror in front of you, and then ask the question, well, what do you see? And are you comfortable with whom you're looking? And what do you need to change in order to make a life a little better for you? So, I present chapters on how to deal with predicament solving. I like to go into time management. I like for people to learn to believe in themselves. And to understand what is an actionaire's mindset, an achiever's mindset. How do you need to think to be an achiever? And then it goes into area sections, attitude controls, and life transformations, and even repositioning yourself. At some point you have to step back and look at, well, what have you done, what are you doing, and how should I reposition myself? And what expectancies should I look for? And how I get back on the right track if I lose my way. So these are the characteristics that I brought into this new book. And as I said, it is my purpose is for people to enjoy prosperity and to enjoy abundance in life. And what I want to do is give an explanation almost like a modern day business wealth, that people can go back to a full, they can see themselves and be able to begin with the question, how can I better myself? And here are some ways to do it, thanks to Action Has No Season 2.0. The subtitle to that is The Actionaire Develops All Possibilities. Think about those words. How the actionaire develops all possibilities. We all have possibilities. They always are coming. And we too frequently find ourselves not going after them as aggressively because we may not be equipped with a certain understanding that if we're in a predicament, how do we solve it and how do we take on the possibilities that may be presented to us. So it is going to be an interesting read for people, and I think it's going to ultimately become a workbook, not just a book to read, but there'll be areas for you to actually write down your thoughts and to read a chapter, and then I'm putting very serious questions in front of you and leaving some lines for you to write answers.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. And the last question I have is, where can we purchase this book?
You just type in Action Has No Season 2.0, or if you type Michael V. Roberts, usually my books will pop up. You can hold them down on Amazon. You can buy them at authorhouse.com as well. You can buy Barnes & Noble. If you go to BarnesandNoble.com on the internet, you can do it. It will come in hardback, in paperback, and also if you have a Kindle and you want to just download it to your phone or your laptop, it can be done that way.
Wonderful. Well, I want a bestseller on Amazon tonight. I'm going to go ahead and purchase my copy. I know that within GODSU, we have been sending out information. In fact, Dr. Roberts, I talked to you yesterday and I said that that we are constantly working to support you and the same ways in which you've been able to support us, because we're all about cooperation and not competition, right? So we want to make sure that we are supporting our first dean and his second edition of his book, Action Has No Season 2.0. And without further ado, I just want to thank you so much, Dr. Roberts, for your time and for sharing with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and continue to do the great work. You are such a successful young woman. You have so much to offer all of us in the future. So continue with your education, your training, and your experiences. And all the best to your parents who have done a great job for you, your brothers and sisters who support you. And we all are behind you. You continue to set the example that allows us all to be proud to know there's confidence in the future for our country and the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'm going to talk with you a little offline a little bit later, but I do want to let you know that I will be going to law school in 2021, thanks to your advice, and I will be going into international arbitration and contracts and negotiation. So we'll talk a little bit more offline about that, but I wanted to let you know that you have inspired me so much to be the person I am today. And with that being said, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Emmanuel Irono. He is a strategic visionary with analytical ability, good judgment, and strong operational focus. After completing his studies, Emmanuel Irono took a job working as a budget analyst for a federal contractor. Pursuing a lifelong dream of owning his own business, he bought out a small, struggling janitorial service company for $10,000 and turned it into a $50 million profit generator. He renamed the company Motir Services, Inc. in honor of his parents' memory of Teresa Irono Romenos. As president and CEO of Motir, Emmanuel Irono is responsible for providing strategic leadership for the company and direct the administration corporate governance, marketing, finance, and contracts. He's traveled all over the world and has created a company of diversity that gives back to US-based charitable organizations and to his homeland through his nonprofit organization to inspire strong, TIS. TIS feeds, educates, and provides medical treatment for African children. Whether feeding the hungry and abandoned, supplying tools to rural area school children, or implementing an AIDS awareness program, Mr. Irono is taking local action, reaching global heights. With Motir, the future is still an ever-evolving globe of successful initiatives. Dr. Irono, are you on the line with me at this time?
Yes, I'm here. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be part of this forum. I learned so much over the course of time, and I have dedicated my life to be able to support whatever it takes to build human capacity and to strengthen our lives and our people. And it's been long waiting dream for me to take this journey, but I'm glad that we're in this space. I just want to thank you for the opportunity.
The pleasure is all mine. When I tell you that Dr. Irono is just so humble, the work that he has done, the ways in which both him and his wife, Dr. Oge, have given back in so many different ways. For example, most recently, Dr. Irono and his wife, Dr. Oge Irono, co-sponsored along with Global Obade Seminary and University, the first ever African Trade and Investment Panel at the 2019 Florida International Trade and Cultural Expo earlier this month. And when I tell you, everyone on the line, the amount of people who were so excited, people who came up to us during our morning session, during our afternoon session, thanking us for hosting the first ever African Trade and Investment Panel for this conference. We knew that it was important. Dr. Irono, I know that you knew it was important that countries such as Nigeria be highlighted on a panel just focusing on the African continent. We had people dancing to Afro beats, we had people dancing and moving around, and then we had them listening about opportunities in which they could be able to work with organizations, international organizations, as well as embassies to do work in Africa. So I wanted to first thank you for your humility and just for being willing to assist and co-sponsor in this event. Now, the first question I have for you, Dr. Emmanuel Irono, is what did you do to turn a $10,000 investment into a $50 million profit generator? People are so curious to know exactly how you did that. Can you share that with us tonight?
Well, I started at my background in economics and finance, and I pretty much worked for the defense contracting agency. And after that, then that's when I started my business. And then I'm kind of passionate about human capacity development so that I can be able to invest in a talent. So through the talent investment, I was able to create a multi-mission of my company in order to become a mission critical support for the U.S. agency. Different angle, partner with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and did a lot of work with Defense, White House, Pentagon, for fire, for Belfort, and pretty much diversified our capacity and be one-stop shop for most of the agencies without going outside our portfolio. They be able to support their needs because to medical staffing and division, and we staff all those of medical professionals. And then the food service division, we have a logistic division and food division. And pretty much it was over 25 years today, but we thank God for
His mercy and blessing for showing us all the areas we are investing in, because you can invest in other things that is not going to work out, that we're able to invest in people who are passionate about women development capacity, which I cannot thrive on, and those human beings were able to develop their strength and empower them to make some certain decisions. So that I don't have to 500 to 600 employees at a time. They can stand on their own merit. So that's where we are, but we continue to engage people on our level, and lessons learned every day is a progress. And I'm humbled to be here today to thank God for our mission. But I'm a social entrepreneur, believe in people, I believe in 80% or 60% of my stuff is in a high need area, like hard to serve population. So I'm passionate about redesigning program process and investing in the non-profit Peace Foundation to help reduce areas in the community, especially in Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and also in the sub-Saharan Africa. We want to be able to train people and then transform them and hire them and show them another way of life where they can be able to be a productive citizens. We thrive on that because it helps us to stay engaged in the community that we serve. So I'm very, very humble and thank God for the opportunity to have that gainful access to those people, whereby not only that we work with them, we live with them. We have programs throughout the year, from the beginning of the school to the vaccination of the people in the community, and after school for the at-risk children. We have our local basketball team that we fund completely 100%. For kids that don't have opportunity, we give them opportunity. Then we also have the back to school things that we have ongoing after school training, mentoring. And we also have the band giving, which is a bit where we have about 1,000 touches to individuals. They have dinner in the neighborhood with us, with our staff. We do Christmas toy drives for at least 800 young people that have nobody to be Santa Claus for them. We support them through the holidays. And we continue to see things and ways how we can be able to develop programs and through helping other people be able to grow our company and grow those communities there with stuff.
You know, I always say that when you have a little bit of lotion on your hands and you go and you try to moisturize someone else's hand, some of that lotion gets to stay on you, right? And so in the same way, which you're so able and so willing to be able to give back to others, give back to, some of the children in Nigeria, in the same way, you're being blessed by giving in those ways. And I heard some of the numbers that you were giving. 800 children, at a time, 1,000 children at a time. Those who have someone else, you, your wife, and people within your organization are there to provide them the resources that they need. And that is such a blessing. That is such a blessing to be able to give back in such a way and engage in social entrepreneurship in that capacity. Now, the next question that I have for you, Dr. Irono, is that you are always talking about your wife, Dr. Oge Irono. I remember speaking to you for the first time, and you were talking about the organizations, and you said, no, it's my wife. My wife is the reason why it's doing so well. You credit her with your success. And I wanted to ask, and then meanwhile, when I speak to her, she's saying, no, it's him. So I think that with the both of you, you both have such a wonderful balance where you give each other credit. Now that is a good thing to have in a relationship. Give credit to your partner, right? That's how you keep a long relationship, isn't it right?
Yes.
Well, the question I have for you is how do you maintain success in your marriage as well as in the corporate boardroom? What are some pieces of advice that you would impart upon couples who are interested or looking to partner together in business?
Well, everything comes with you. You have to humble yourself, no matter who you are outside, coming into your home. You have to leave all that stuff outside and humble yourself around your family and your children, because when everything comes to shop, they are the people that really pick up all the pieces. So I give a difference in terms of opinion and leadership. I try to list it as much as I can and get repeat myself if I don't get everything, because we don't have a way to be able to express themselves. And over the years, because of most of the time, she always sacrificed for the family. She always, she's the person that kind of have all the details when it comes to the children, which is the most priceless, how do I say, priceless, something that I ever is my children. So because of that, she kind of have a good way to manage them, talk to them, deal with them, make sure that they stay focused, that they don't expose to what we have or what we don't have. They live a normal life. And I kind of appreciate that, because she's the person that holds down that line. I keep traveling and going, but it's more detailed. So because of that, I kind of feel back into what it brings to the table. And I try as much as I can to be inclusive in terms of decision making, because a lot of times I'm surprised at some of the decisions I made in the past. I didn't think that it's on the other hand, she would be the better person to make that decision. She understands people, she can read through people, she can be very conscious and work. She's the person that actually developed the staff, understand the staff, and build a sustainable relationship through the work down, because he's a biopsychologist. She's supposed to go to medical school, but I convinced her at the early stage not to go to come and help with the business. She was able to take the non-profit to the next level. I'm very grateful for this and working us. And I have a lot of friends that she brought around that kind of sustain us in terms of what we do. So I'm very, very there to be able to make sure that I do that what we do when it comes to business and family. So it's a big part for us, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I completely understand. And what I will say is that when you have two people combine their strengths in order to work towards an initiative or accomplish a goal, there's so many wonderful things that happen. And so you brought in your strengths, she brought in her strengths, and together you were able to turn Motir Services, Motir, into this global organization, and you're able to give back in the ways in which you have been able to. And so I don't believe that, you know, I'm sure that if we were to ask you right now, you would say, I couldn't do it without her. And if I asked her right now, she would say the same exact thing. And so at the end of the day, I mean, you're each other's, and I don't want to say better halves, but instead you together make a whole initiative, a whole vision come to pass. How does that sound? That sounds better, right? Well, I wanted to ask you, I have two more questions for you, because you're just, it's amazing hearing your story and, you know, the lessons that you have learned, the journey that you have paved the way in order to get to where you are now. And so I wanted to know, how old were you when you turned that struggling janitorial service company into Motir Services? And I also wanted to know, what is some advice that you would have given your younger self? What would you have said to, younger Emmanuel, who was pursuing this entrepreneurial venture? What is one piece of advice that you would have given yourself?
Well, I would say that I was about probably around 30 years old. I always tell people, you have to follow your passion. It's not, sometimes to school to study economics and finance, I was thinking that I would be a banker or one of the major banks. But all that changed over time. During the course of the time when I feel that I'm empty, I truly needed something that can life my life, and I like to get my hands. I'm a hands-on kind of person. With the banking, it's all about formula that you use to be able to solve problems. No matter what problem they have, you put in the formula, you just solve it. So it was a little boring for me, and then so when I found my passion, I just followed it, and then people around me, they supported it. There was a little turbulence, but because I had to start from zero, ground zero, to build it from scratch. So it took a long time, but it was worth it for the freedom and flexibility that I have to be able to support my children and family. I truly appreciate it. I've met a lot of good people that have supported me throughout the years. I have a wonderful staff. Some of them have been with me for 20 years, 18 years. And they have rise above, starting from the top, they become the vice president, directors, senior project managers in the company. So we support them through the educational fund that we give them to be able them to go to school. We pay for it. We pay for some of our families that have trauma, that have issues. We pay for their funeral. And there's a lot of things we do so that we are not just a regular corporate entity. We are more like a social entrepreneur. The impact we make in the community is what drives our business. So we are very personable to the community where we serve. And we believe in the people in the community and their struggle. We try to provide a solution to them. And it becomes a win-win situation whereby we're a community. It doesn't matter our office in Virginia Beach, in Texas, in Atlanta, in New York, in Dover. We try to stay involved with the community.
So what I gathered from what you just said was that it was a mixture of passion and persistence that got you to where you are, and also support as well. But I was thinking for another keyword. I was trying for an alliteration. I got 2 out of 3, but that still counts. I wanted to ask, I feel as though I've made you laugh about 6 times during this interview, so that means that you are enjoying yourself, and that is a good sign. The last question I have for you is for those who would like to learn more about your organization and support your initiative. How can they get in touch with you? How can they learn more?
Oh, wonderful. They can always Google my company or go to my website, www.motirservices.com. Our foundation, which is Key Foundation, and they can think if you Google my name, Emmanuel Irono, you can see, you can come out of there, get information. And also we have my wife also, and then can be able to be Google to get the foundation. But we definitely out there. She's more like on the social media with the foundation. I'm not too much into, I come from old school, so I'm not in the social media too much, but she, because of the foundation and the public and the interaction and the public events, so she's more out there than me. So I'm very blessed to be able to share with them. We like mentoring, like people that we met a lot of business or business way to enterprise, because we believe that for our people, Black people, all over the world, that we have to become more enterprising in order to meet the gap or to bridge the intergenerational poverty that is, separating us for years. So we need to move people from workforce development and a good job into becoming an enterprise, so that they can now sustain their family without moving out of their neighborhood. They can live, because a lot of neighborhoods, they are changing, they are becoming more expensive and progressive, and they cannot afford it anymore. So it's either they move or they moving, or they change their actions that they're taking, and we empower them to be able to start their own business. And so we have a couple of successful businesses that we mentored over the years.
That's powerful work that you are doing in so many different areas, mentorship, being able to engage in social entrepreneurship. I want everyone to know motirservices.com, MOTIR services with an S.com. And as for TISFoundation.org, is that correct?
That's correct.
The TIS Foundation is TIS Foundation.org, and then for Emmanuel Irono, his last name is Irono. You can look up Motir Services, TIS Foundation, Emmanuel Irono, as well as Ogay Irono, OGAY, and I'm so excited and thrilled. I will be interviewing her next week for our Women of Power session. Whoop, there it is. But before I let you all go, I want to just say that it has been wonderful being able to interview you, as well as Dr. Michael V. Roberts and Dr. Emmanuel. I want to tell you, I truly look forward to working with you, working alongside you, as well as your wife, as we use our organizations and our skill sets and our resources to empower others, empower those who've been marginalized, to keep them going up, to be able to bridge those gaps so that there are no people who are being left behind. How does that sound?
Wonderful.
And with that being said, everyone on the line, ladies and gentlemen, people on the line, I want to let you know we're going to be transitioning now to our chancellor. We had 2 moguls on the line, and so we actually lengthened the interview. And what are moguls? Moguls are men of God, or GODSU unlocking legacy successfully. So now we're going to transition over to Dr. Diane Moore-Eubanks, who will be giving us an abbreviated account of updates for the GODSU graduation, which will be happening in December. And so for those who are on the conference line, please don't go anywhere. Dr. Diane is going to take it over from here. And for those on Facebook Live, I hope that you have enjoyed this, and that you are ready for the next lesson for Dr. Diane's talk on foundational values. And will be happening during the GODSU Tuesday Icon Talk. Excuse me, this is the GODSU Tuesday Icon Talk. The GODSU Success Teach and Pray Call, which is Monday through Friday, 7:45 to 8:05 in the morning. We're here to educate, uplift, and empower. So with that being said, let me turn it over to Dr. Diane. Dr. Diane.